welcome to my channel. Let's get to the craft room and get to crafting. So first off, I wanted to show you my red, white, and blue nails for our red, white, and blue theme. Okay, we're gonna get started on our wreath, and we're gonna take a Dollar Tree tablecloth and any color you want. Today I'm gonna use red, white, and blue. And I start off using the rotary cutter, but it just wasn't cutting a super straight line, so I end up using the scissors, but just do which is easiest for you. We're gonna cut the tablecloth, leave it folded up, and cut it into 4 slices. As you can kind of see here, I end up cutting the next one down the center in half, and then cut each of those pieces in half. And then you're going to fold each one of your strips over and cut that in half. And then you are going to open up those pieces that were on the edge and trim those down the center, because those will be on the fold and you don't want that fold in there. So you're going to cut each one of your little stacks into kind of a petal shape. You're just going to cut it so that there's a point on each end, and that will give you the little spikies all over the entire wreath. And then I go ahead and separate each individual piece. This just makes it easier for when you're actually putting these on the wreath form, that you don't have to pull them apart at that point, because they do kind of want to stick together. So I do go ahead and do that to the entire tablecloth. For this wreath, I end up using 1 tablecloth of each color. So I wanted to drop in and say, if you're new here, my name is Christy, and welcome to my channel. And if you're not new here, that means you're a subscriber, so welcome back. I am so glad to have you. I love each and every one of you. I love your sweet comments that you leave for me. It just makes my day, so keep it up. So today we're doing our red, white, and blue theme, and it has been so fun. Like, I even did red, white, and blue nails, red eyeshadow with blue eyeliner and blue mascara, and a red, white, and blue shirt. It's been a lot of fun for me. Today's video is in collaboration with Heidi over at Heidi Sonboul DIY. Heidi is such an amazing crafter, has so many good tips and tricks. If you are a do-it-yourselfer, you definitely want to check her out. She has been so sweet and thoughtful to pay it forward to so many of us smaller YouTube channels with this summer DIY daily series. So I would like to say a big thank you, Heidi. I'm sure most of you have seen her videos before, but if you haven't, go over there and check her out and subscribe to her channel while you're there. If you do, please be sure to let her know that I sent you. Just as FYI, she will be posting a new video every day in the month of June and July for the Summer DIY Daily series. Alright, now back to our wreath. Let's go ahead and cut up the white and the blue tablecloth just like you did the red one. You're going to cut it down the middle and then cut each of those pieces down the middle. Then make your little pieces into a petal shape. I do go ahead once I get these done and I put them in a small little tote just so I can take them to the couch with me. You're going to take a wreath form, and this can be whichever kind you want. If you want to do a square one, do a square one. If you want to do a large or small one, you could do a heart shape. Just whatever you have in your stash. I'm going to go with the larger wreath frame that Dollar Tree carries. I'm kind of showing you here so you can see which one it is, but it is the largest one that they have. And you're going to start off and you're going to take 2 of your little petal shapes, and I kind of twist them in the center. So that you kind of have a little place to tie them onto. And then I start on the inner ring. And I start against one of the little crossbars. And you just tie those two pieces on in a knot, just a regular knot. And for each of these colors, I'm going to put 2 side by side of the same color. So I'm going to take 2, tie it on of the red, and then I'm going to take 2 more of the red and tie it on right next to the one that I just put on there. And then I will move on to my white, and I will do the same. I will put 2, twist it, tie it on, and then I will take 2 more white, twist it, and tie it on. Then I will move on to the blue, and I will take 2, twist them, tie them on right next to the white, and then I will take 2 more of the blue, twist it, and tie it on right next to that last blue. And I'm going to continue to do that around the entire wreath form on all 3 of the rings. So I hope that makes sense. And I will show you in a minute after I get some of it done. I do take it to the couch with me so that you don't have to endure watching me tie the entire thing. I will show you pictures along the way of kind of how it's going. But you can take this tote with you to the couch or to the kitchen table, and that way you can sit and watch Netflix, you can watch a movie, you can watch your soap opera, whatever you want to watch, listen to a podcast, and do this while you sit and watch something. And it's actually really relaxing. So here's me at the couch.
One eternity later.
And 1 eternity later. Here is me still at the couch. So here it is, and I'm down to my final little, I guess you would call that little section. And I have figured out, I'm going to show you here up close, if you offset them just a little, it gives you more texture, more little spikies, so it looks like you've actually got more tied on. When I first started, I didn't realize that that would be the case, but I did do that. After the first section, I realized that it looked a lot fuller if I kind of offset the 2 that I was tying together. So hopefully that makes sense. Here you can see it. I kind of set them off just a little bit. And then I'm going to kind of show you here how I finish it off. And here I prop it up with a little small tote underneath it. It was just easier to get to the little frame and not have to lift it up each time while I was tying. And you could do this in a flag pattern, like where you put stripes on it and put one whole section that's blue and then red and white like stripes. You could do it in any pattern. It was just, I wanted where it was all mixed together. So you just do whatever makes you happy. Now that's all finished. I'm kind of showing you the back here. You kind of push everything toward the front and that gives it a fuller look. And then I'm showing you here how many I had left. I used, like I said, 1 tablecloth of each color. A lot of DIYers will tell you to use 2, but I only used 1 of each and I had enough. So I guess it depends on how many you tie on in each section. And then I'm fluffing it all. All the center ones go toward the middle and all the ones on the outside, spread them out and bring them all to the front so that you've got a really full wreath. And then you take whatever embellishments you have. I had this little sign from the Dollar Tree and I thought it would be cute in the middle so that it was like a big full wreath that didn't have a center. And then I'm also going to take some of this foam scatter, the little stars that are glittery, because I love glitter. And I'm just going to put them on randomly. And you can do whatever, you know, creativity. You do what you like. If you don't want the stars, don't put the stars. If you have some big glittery, like they have a thing at the Dollar Tree that has stars on it that are like a lot larger, you could put those on there. You could put a square sign. You could put USA, like the letters they sell on a sign there. You could do those. Just whatever you have at home or whatever you think looks good, you do that. Here I'm taking some wire from the Dollar Tree, and I used red. It was something I had that matched, so I just went ahead and used it, but you could use whatever you had on hand. And I cut the little ribbon loose in the center that sign had on it, and I'm actually going to use that hole to attach it to the wreath frame. And here you can see that I'm putting the wire through that hole, and I'm going to twist it just so it locks it on there. And then I'm going to attach it to the frame. And then I will also do the same at the bottom. The bottom does not have a hole, so I'm just going to hot glue that wire on there, and I will show you that up close here in just a minute. And I kind of move some of those out of the way and just poke through. I find a little hole and I poke through and then tighten it down to where it sits pretty centered. And I apologize if you hear my stomach rumbling. I guess I'm hungry. And I hope you guys enjoy this DIY. I thought it was something fun that you could put on your door, you could hang it in your house. It's very festive for 4th of July. Since it's made out of those plastic tablecloths, it's also pretty weather resistant, depending on what embellishments you put on it. And if you were going to hang it on a door that was going to have a little bit of weather, you could also spray paint the embellishments with some clear spray paint, give them a couple of coats, and that would help protect those from the elements. Do be careful if you use very much hot glue on these, because those tablecloths are so thin. They do burn through pretty easy, but you can get away with using a little bit because I do put these stars on with hot glue. Just be careful not to touch your hot glue gun to the plastic, because I did make that mistake and I burnt a hole in one of my pieces. Shh, don't tell anybody. We hid it really well. And make sure, if you watch my entire video, leave me a comment down below as to which was your favorite DIY today. If you have any suggestions of things you want to see me make, I'm up for suggestions. So here I kind of made just a little loop, and that was more so that I would have a little bit more surface area for my glue to stick to. I thought it might help hold the wire on there just a little bit better. And here's a tip for you, which I'm fixing to show you right here. If you put just a little tiny bit of hot glue on your new glue stick and then you stick it in, it will stick to your other piece of glue and then it won't fall out the end of your glue gun. I believe I saw that a long time ago on Glue Guns and Roses page, possibly. So that was an awesome tip that I have used ever since. And I didn't realize I wasn't in the frame, so here in a minute I catch it. I promise I'm not going to keep the whole thing out of frame. Since I did make the larger wreath, it was hard to keep the entire thing in frame. So every time it comes out of frame, I'm sorry. And here I'm just trying to hold it in place for a minute while the glue kind of dries. And if you do end up making one of these and you have an Instagram page, be sure to go over there and post a picture and tag me in it, because I would love to see what you create. And on Instagram, I am at Christi Creates DIY. So ChristiCreates DIY. I love it when my creators go over there and tag me in their photos. And if you don't already follow me on Instagram, do that while you're there as well. Also, while we've got just a minute while I'm fidgeting with that, do you guys enjoy farmhouse DIYs? Do you enjoy boho DIYs? Like, what are you guys into? What should I do from here on out? Like, I like to do farmhouse. You know, I live in Arkansas, so I grew up on a farm. So farmhouse is kind of what I do. But I also enjoy boho, like, just, I like a little modern farmhouse. But then again, I also like just modern stuff, very futuristic. So I'm kind of all over. I mean, I'm scatterbrained, and anybody that watches my channel knows this, because, you know, squirrel, what? So I'm kind of all over the place, but I want to create things that you guys love to watch me create. So drop a little comment down below, tell me what you like, and that way I can do more of that. I want to make sure you guys enjoy what I put out there for you. Here I am just taking those little foam star, I think it's called scatter is what the Dollar Tree calls it, and just hot gluing them on. I'm just kind of embellishing my embellishment. Everything for this project did come from the Dollar Tree. So I think if you had to go buy everything, including the wreath form, the tablecloth, the embellishments, the wire, all of that, I think this would only cost you like maybe $7. And if you already had some of this and just had to go buy the tablecloths, then, I mean, it's not going to cost you but just a few dollars. So this is a good, cheap DIY that when you get done, I mean, it really looks like an $80 to $100 wreath. It is so pretty. And here I'm just taking and gluing some of the stars randomly around, just kind of tucking it down in those little tablecloth pieces, just to give it a little extra sparkle, because, you know, we all love sparkle, right? I'm not the only one, am I? I was also wondering, while we've got just a second, do you guys enjoy watching live videos? Would you enjoy it if I got on YouTube and did some come craft with me or something like that? I mean, I could even just do a, you guys shoot questions at me and ask me about myself, or we could craft together and do a live. Just tell me your thoughts on that, because I've been thinking about doing a live video. I've never done it, so it's a little scary, but hey, if y'all want to see it, I am game to do whatever. So let me know your thoughts. Here I had just a little bit of ribbon left over from Christmas. This was also from the Dollar Tree, and I thought I've got enough to make a cute little bow, so I'm just gonna throw a bow on the top. So I just kind of folded it in a little bow shape, and then I took some of that wire that I showed you earlier and wrapped it around the center just to connect it and close it off. Then I dovetailed the ends, and I stuck a little blue star in the center, one of those little glittery foam scatter stars, and attached it to the wreath form with that ribbon. And then we are going to make a little loop with some of the wire and attach it to the back side of the wreath form, and that way it's got a little hanger on the back side. Now you would not have to do this. I just did it as personal preference because when I hang my wreath up on my door, I wanted it to hang from a certain spot so that it would never, I find if I don't put a hanger on the back, sometimes it goes lopsided, and I don't like that. That bugs me. I'm a little OCD. So here I'm showing you how sparkly the ribbon is. I'm telling you, this girl loves sparkle. I get sidetracked like I was saying earlier. I'm like doing this, doing that. Then I'm like squirrel. But sometimes it's, I noticed somebody had put a comment, sometimes instead of a squirrel, it's shiny. Yes, do that too. I see something shiny or glittery or sparkly or pretty, and I'm like, oh my goodness, sparkles. So I hear you, girl. I'm the same way. I'm gonna tell you, I do see all of the comments, so I read every single one of them, and I try to respond to every single one. If I don't respond, it's usually because I don't know the answer right away. Like if you've asked me the color of paint or something, and I hate to tell you the wrong one, so I need to go check before I answer, and that's the only reason I haven't answered. So if that's you, I will get to it, I promise. I don't want to ever be one of those YouTubers that's too busy to answer messages and comments, because I love each and every one of you guys for being here and supporting me. So, thank you guys so much. Like, honestly, I never in a million years dreamed I would even get over 100 subscribers, let alone over 2,600. Like, when that happened, I was in shock. And so humbled and so, like, grateful. Like, it just, it melts my heart. Even now, thinking about it, it's like, you guys are awesome. Okay, here I'm attaching the bow. And I'm just doing the same as I did with the embellishment. I just put that wire on there, and I'm wrapping it around the actual wreath form. And that way it's got a good, strong connection. It shouldn't come loose in the wind or anything like that, so. Now I'm gonna kind of fluff the bow, and I'm going to hot glue down the ends just a little bit because I want them to stay in place. And this may or may not have been where I learned that the tablecloth will burn with your glue gun. Don't ask me how I know. Right there is where it happened, if you're wondering. And I'm like, oops, how can I cover that up? And here I was trying to decide which color I wanted of the stars, and I thought the blue looked the best because it gave the most contrast. Kind of went with our whole theme. Kind of pulled in the blue around the heart that's in the center. So here's where I'm going to create that little loop in the back that I can hang it from. And I hope you guys aren't angry that my video is so long. I just really want to get all the detail in there that I can. so that you don't have any questions. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want you to be like, how did she do that? I didn't see it well enough. So I honestly probably go overboard with that, but I would rather you for sure know how to do it than wonder and, you know, be afraid you're going to mess it up or something. So and I do show you this better in just a minute. I realized that it's out of frame and kind of scoot it over. Like I said, I just made a little loop and I doubled it over so that it would be good and strong, and then wrapped that wire around that metal frame quite a few times, and then I tacked it down the very end of it with just a little bit of hot glue. I mean, it's not going to come off because it's wrapped around there quite a few times, but I just wanted to make sure, give it that little bit of extra oomph to hold it on. So and anytime you're adding anything on here with that wire, you can kind of push those little pieces of tablecloth off to the side. You can even like scoot them over just a little bit. I mean, I've got quite a few pieces on there, but you can scoot them just a little so that they're not in your way. And here I'm just making sure the little end piece is tucked under so it won't scratch my door. And then put a little dab of glue on there. A little dab will do ya. Okay, now we're gonna start on our little tablescape. I'm gonna put down some paper just because I'm gonna be painting. And I'm gonna take some Dollar Tree contact paper. It's just some, I think it's called Magic Cover. And I used my Cricut and cut out a bunch of stars. If you had star stickers, you wouldn't have to do this. You could just use star stickers. And then I'll show you here in just a minute how you can also, if you've got some of the contact paper and don't have a Cricut, how you could make them yourself by just drawing on the back side and then cutting them out with scissors. If you don't have a Cricut, by the way, they are amazing. If you are a crafter, a do-it-yourselfer, I love my Cricut and I use it all the time. Normally I use vinyl for this, but contact paper comes in handy if you're wanting to use it as a stencil or something like that. So sometimes just to be cheaper, I use contact paper. It does the trick. So that's all of my different size stars there that you can see. And here I'm going to show you, if you've got some contact paper, how you can do it yourself if you don't have a Cricut or a silhouette. So I just draw a star on the back side, and then I'm going to take my scissors and cut it out. And it's as easy as that. Then you can take your little star homemade sticker and put it on your jar. Okay, and here is your little handmade star. So now we are going to take our stars and put them on our jars. I do first off take this little hanger piece off of here, and at the end of the DIY, if you want to hang this up, you could do that instead. I wanted it to sit on the table, so I took that off, and then when I get done, I put it back on, but just more for looks than anything. So now I'm going to take my stars and start putting them all over the jar. Just in random places, random sizes. And at the end, we're going to paint this, and then we're going to take the stickers off so that you can put a candle or some little lights down inside, and it will shine through the stars. So they will like light up. And you can put as many or as few as you want. I wanted a whole bunch because I wanted a lot of light to shine out of them when I was done. I just kind of go back and look, spin it around, and I liked the way it looked. And then I go ahead and do the rest. Ta-da, they are done. Movie magic. Now I'm gonna take my white Waverly chalk paint, and I'm going to paint each jar with 2 coats of paint. I do 1 coat, and I put it on not super thick, but not super thin. And then I let it dry completely. Otherwise, it will try to pull your paint back off if you try to do it when it's still a little bit wet. And then do your second coat the same. You're not gonna do super light coat, but you're not gonna do a super thick coat. And I hope you guys enjoy watching me do this. I think it's relaxing to watch people do this when it's sped up and you just watch and watch. I know some people probably don't enjoy that. If you don't, just fast forward till I get to a point that you want to watch again. And if you do want to watch, then join me. Now I have let them dry, painted a second coat, and let that dry completely. Now I'm going to take either an X-Acto knife or my Cricut tool, and on the very first one I took my Cricut weeder tool and I started pulling, and if it wasn't coming off well, if it was trying to take your paint a little bit, take your X-Acto knife and go around the edge of the star, and that way it breaks it loose from that paint and it won't pull all up. But mine came off like a dream. I mean, it pulled right up, and as you see, I pull up kind of 2 of the edges and then they just pull right off. I do have a couple that bled just a little. It's not bad, so I just took the edge of my weeder tool and kind of scratched that little bit of extra paint off, and it came right off. Just be careful on the red and the blue glasses. Like I said, I bought them from the Dollar Tree in those colors, and the paint on them, or that tint, is on the outside of the glass, so it will scratch off. So just kind of be real easy when you're scratching. Now I'm going to show you how to make a little cute garland to go with your little lights. They look so cute on the center of a table, kind of scattered around. And you can just use that foam scatter and just scatter it around. But I wanted a little garland with tassels on the end. I had that big long needle. You don't have to have one that big. It could be just an embroidery needle or whatever you had that would poke through. And then I'm taking some cotton twine from, I believe that's from the Dollar Tree. If not, they have some at the Dollar Tree. And you wouldn't have to use that. You could use just regular thread. That would work just as well. I'm taking a little bit of tape on the end of my rope, putting it around the end so that I can poke it through the needle, get it laced in there. Brain fart, I can't think of the word. And then once I get it through, I'm going to cut that little piece of tape off because it doesn't pull through the foam very well. I found that out the hard way. And then I'm going to feed all of those stars on, and you can do as few or as many as you want. I did quite a few because I wanted a pretty long garland. And you're just going to push it through, like you take one of the little peaks there and you just push it through to the other side. You don't have to go very far through there, and that's why I said you could use just a regular embroidery needle. So we're just pushing it right through the top of the star. And I just kind of mixed the colors and the sizes. I just made sure that I didn't have two right next to each other that were the same color, but you could do it like 2 or 3 red ones, 2 or 3 blue ones. You could do it however you wanted, just whichever you thought looked best. Make sure if you haven't subscribed, before you leave, hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up too, because that helps my channel grow. Now I'm going to make a little tassel. I'm just going to wrap some red and blue yarn as well as some of that cotton twine around my hand just a couple of times. And then I'm going to tie it on to the end, or each end of the garland, I guess I should say. And if you want a better DIY on how to make a tassel or a pom-pom for the end or for the whole garland, like you could do a whole garland full of them, I can do a video for that. Just let me know in the comments down below. And I should have probably sped this up, but I wanted to make sure you could see it if you didn't know how to make it. I'm just going to wrap some of that cotton twine around the top there to kind of tie it off. And then I will cut all of the loops on the bottom to make it a tassel. And then I will, once I cut all of those, I will kind of go back and trim them just so that they're all the same length. I think I paused there because someone come in and talked to me. Of course, everyone always needs something when mom's busy, right? Does that happen to anyone else? All right, and here is what the wreath looks like when we're all done. And I will also show it to you on a door. What do you guys think? Do you like it? Here's our little tablescape. I put the garland, just kind of wrapped it around, and our little lights are showing through the stars. I want to thank you guys for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did creating it. It was a lot of fun. If you liked this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up before you leave and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. That way YouTube will notify you every time I post a new video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.